You know when you're feeling really lazy but you still gotta go to work, so you throw on some pajamas and call it Casual Friday? Well, Onward is the Casual Friday of Pixar movies. Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is EJ Marino and this is About Last Night, the show where I talk about the movie I saw last night. We are diving into a brand new review of the latest Pixar movie, Onward. We all have middle-of-the-road, mediocre days, and Onward feels like that for Pixar. I'm kind of amazed that this wasn't thrown onto the Disney Plus streaming service because this doesn't have the weight, the impact, the oh my god factor of other Pixar movies. And look, I know it's maybe not fair to compare like top-tier Pixar like Up and Coco to something like Onward, but when they set their bar so high, when Pixar and Disney are usually at the top of their game in animation, something like this does feel like a letdown. Again, Onward I wouldn't say is a bad movie. It's perfectly fine, it does what it needs to do, but it doesn't go that extra mile. It doesn't have the oomph you would expect from a movie like this. None of those emotional moments really connect. The animation is fine. It's not that great, it's not that bad. It's just okay. And that is kind of an overall mood of this like review. It's just okay. It's kind of tough for me because usually I like to go in with passionate feelings of anger or happiness. And this movie is just meh. Now, Onward does have some positives. I said the animation was okay. It's not that great, it's not that bad, but it's still Pixar animation, and it looks good when it wants to look good. Hair textures, some of the action scenes are really great to look at. Everything in between is just fine. Again, this is such a high bar for Pixar, so when they're just putting in middle-of-the-road efforts, it gets a middle-of-the-road review. Now, there's other things, like the voice acting. I expected to be annoyed by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt the entire time. Two actors who I enjoy, but I'm not a big Chris Pratt fan, and sometimes, especially like Spies in Disguise, I don't really love Tom Holland's voice. But here, both of them as two brothers trying to like bring their dad back by using magic to see him for one more time, it really is good. They have a great bond. Their characters are really interesting as well. Not completely like three-dimensional characters. Chris Pratt's character is like an older guy who's still living at home and plays a lot of like D&D and World of Warcraft and kind of stuff. He's that kind of character. Where Tom Holland is the, of course, weird, awkward, insecure kind of character. When's Tom Holland gonna play like a bold person with a lot of personality to him? I'm tired of seeing this kid play awkward. Ever since Billy Elliot on the stage, he's been forced to do these kind of characters, but he plays it well here. He does a good job. I believe both characters and I enjoy their arcs. These two brothers have a good bond together and it grows over the movie. It's the big central plot of the film is how those two will grow and how you have a father figure when you have an older brother, if he's a good person. Not saying all older brothers are father figures, but that's what this movie does try to say is you don't always have to look outwards for some. Sometimes it's inside and we aren't really noticing it. So there is a good message here and the voice acting is performed really well. Even Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this movie I thought was good. All of the voice acting was good. Nothing is amazing. There's no standout performances. I don't think anyone here is like a Tom Hanks or a Tim Allen, like a these are these characters, no one else could voice them. Oh my god, easily any of these two actors could have been replaced by anyone and still have that weight, but I like the job that they did here. Not a bad effort from animation, from voice acting. Then we get to the story and I'm not as kind. So many of the jokes in this movie get old really quickly. The dad having a weekend at Bernie's type of outfit and just walking around because he's just like a half guy. Okay, that gets annoying real quick. All the jokes about it being like fairy tale stuff, but set in a modern time. Oh, so much comedy there. Yeah, no, it gets like 1 in every 5 jokes works. And there's a lot of jokes in this movie. So for not all of them to land, it does get a little cringy. It does go, okay, you're kind of telling the same jokes over and over. Even Shrek didn't have that problem. I thought Shrek was a really good example of having fairy tale and the modern mixture of things. I was kind of expecting something like that here. I was kind of expecting more world building. What's presented is good. I like what's here, but there's a lot left, like, just kind of not to play with. There's some more magic stuff we could have done. More of this universe. I'm not saying I want a sequel to Onward because I'm not a big sequel fan, but you could do a really good Disney Plus streaming service, like a TV show, about this universe, and it would be so good. I think there's a lot to expand that the a long-form storytelling could have an advantage as opposed to trying to cram everything in 2 hours and it's a long 2 hours. This movie drags on, again, because there's like a big movie about epic fantasy, and there's 2 generic car chases. Yeah, this movie kind of overstays its welcome because it doesn't go that extra mile. Again, I told you that was kind of a theme of this review, of just going, but yeah, with the story of like the two brothers trying to go on this adventure, it's not that intriguing, it's not that thing. Even the powerful messages that they're trying to deliver throughout this story don't connect, and that's what's really strange, is why this movie just doesn't sit well with me. I have no ill will towards this movie. It doesn't annoy me like Sonic or Dolittle for kids movies. This has the kids movie stuff I like. It's a bit more mature. It's trying to tell a real story. I appreciate that. I respect that. But as a story itself, it's still not good. It's not dumbed down for kids, but it's not even trying to do anything outside of the box. Everyone's allowed to have middle of the road, okay days, but for Pixar, we expect more from you. When the movie does drop a lot of the modern stuff and starts focusing on the fantasy adventure, especially that third act, I was really engaged. I was starting to like the characters more, I was starting to like the story more. Then we go to a third act battle that feels like every Marvel or every Disney movie now. I'm not even gonna just say Marvel, Star Wars, a lot of the Disney kind of verticals have the same third act. It's a big battle. Even Maleficent had it. So to see it here, it was just kind of like, okay. And you expect a third act in a big Pixar movie to be the emotional center, and it's here, but it feels like the backdrop to all of the epic action. It's a little strange, it's a little weird, but I don't have any, again, ill will towards it. I just started to be like, ooh, I like this third act, and then they took it away from me. So I'm just like, oh, I'm not leaving the movie on a bad note. I'm just leaving on a, that's what we did note. Alright everyone, that was it for my review of Onward. This movie was touching in the way all Pixar movies were touching. It was beautifully animated in the way all Pixar movies are beautifully animated. It's so middle of the road, so basic that I just am okay on it. And that was my review of Onward. Yay, I'm done talking about a Disney movie. Now we have only 85 more to do this year.